Hello! Welcome to HyperTest. We understand you have access to the HyperTest UI and have already created a user for yourself. So, we will be moving ahead. In this video, we will learn how to install HyperTest SDK in our application, introduce some traffic into our application by making some API calls via Postman and mock their responses in replay mode. FYI, we are installing and running this code on a locally hosted Windows machine. We will be installing HyperTest SDK on top of this code and run it locally via VS Code. We recommend using this document for any assistance. From the option Add New Service, we can add a new service in the system. We can give it any name we want and save it by clicking on Add Service. We will click on View Service to view the newly created service. We can review the service from here and can see the tests we ran from this. Now we will go back to the VS Code and open Terminal on our VS Code. We will type npx space ht1 -init. Once we hit Enter, it will confirm if we are in our project's root directory. Please make sure that you are in your project's root directory. As HyperTest's NPM packages are hosted on a GitHub private NPM registry, it will ask for an NPM token to download the HyperTest packages and make it part of our project. Please note that the NPM token will be provided to the user from HyperTest team. Once this is done, we will receive a series of prompts and it asks for the current version of the SDK and CLI that can be confirmed from the UI. We will also ask to add a few scripts in your package, .json that can be used to start recording and replaying your tests. Please follow along the steps on the video as described. Once this is done, you will see a.npmrc and .htTest.conf JS file being added. We will come back to these later. Finally, we will install the SDK using the command npm install. The next step will be to add SDK in code and initialize OpenTelemetry SDK with HyperTest. This code needs to be added as early in our app as possible. Also, we have to make sure that no require/import call is made before these lines. FYI, if we were using TypeScript or ESM, we will use the commented out code instead. We will copy the whole code and add it to the beginning of our application. We will need to add our service identifier to the code. We can find service identifier from the service itself in the UI, or it is visible in the service dashboard too. The logger URL can be found from the UI itself. Please make sure that you have changed the port from 8001 to 4319. We are almost ready to run our application in record mode. To enable HyperTest, we will set the ht_mode environment variable to record and start our app. We will make sure that it is added in the beginning. Now we will start the application in order to run it in record mode. Once our application starts running, HyperTest CLI will start running in record mode. Now, we will go to Postman to fire a request to an endpoint and generate some traffic in our application. We will go back to the UI and under All Requests, we will be able to find the requests our application made in the record mode. As you can see from here, we will be able to record the request, the response of the request, any outbound call the request has made, and the response of the outbound call. For example, any outbound call to any of the downstream services such as a database is being recorded by HyperTest SDK, with their responses to be mocked during replay.